Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving deep into a Brothers Grimm classic, one that, well, often gets mistaken for its more famous namesake. Schneeweißen and Rosenrot, Snow White and Rose Red.
Right, and it's important to say up front, this isn't the one with the poisoned apple or the seven dwarfs. Forget that one for now.
Mhm.
This tale, when you look at the actual text, it's really something else. It's a fascinating study in contrast, innocence, goodness, but also, like, some pretty swift justice.
Exactly. We've got the single, complete text to work from, and our mission today really is to trace its unique shape, how these two seemingly simple girls deal with a world that throws magic and real danger right into their cozy home lives. And we'll be looking for those little clues the story drops about who their strange visitors really are.
Yeah, we want to follow that path from their perfect little domestic world into these encounters with something wild, something malicious, and analyze how their goodness isn't just passive, like being nice, but an active thing they do, and why that active quality is so crucial for how things turn out.
So let's set the scene first. It's grounded, pretty humble. We have a poor widow living alone with her daughters in a small cottage, kind of remote, but right outside, symbols of, well, real beauty. Two rose bushes, one white, one red.
And the sisters, Schneefeischten Snow White and Rose Red, they're named for these roses, obviously. And right away, they're set up as these complementary parts of a whole. Snow White is, the quieter one, gentler. She stays inside more, helps around the house, reads to her mother. She's like the white rose, purity, calm.
And Rose Red brings the energy. She's the one who'd rather be out in the fields looking for flowers, chasing butterflies. She's the red rose, all that vibrancy and outward-facing life.
And their mother sets down this absolute rule for them. They promise they'd never leave each other, ever. And crucially, what one has, the other shall share. That unity is foundational because their basic nature is described as pious and good, hardworking and cheerful.
And here's a detail that I think often surprises people who maybe only know the name. Their goodness isn't just about being well-behaved. It actually, affects the world around them. The story says animals, hares, deer, birds, they're completely tame with them. They just hang out nearby.
Yeah, that's not just window dressing. It's showing their deep innocence, how they're in harmony with nature. And it even suggests a kind of divine protection. Remember that bit where they fall asleep in the woods, they wake up and realize they were right by a cliff edge, a precipice, and the text just states, an angel watched over them, saved them. It tells you their innate goodness is recognized, even protected by higher forces.
Then winter comes, and we get this really lovely picture of domestic life. Perfect tranquility. Snow White lights the fire. The mother's reading from a big book. They're spinning thread. And right there with them are their animal friends. The tame lamb and a white dove. It's safe, secure.
Exactly. It's an image of perfect, sheltered peace, which, in fairy tales, usually means it's about to be tested.
Right. And that brings us to the big interruption. A loud knock on the door one snowy night. Rose Red goes to open it, thinking maybe it's a traveler needing shelter. But no, it's a huge black bear sticking his massive head inside.
Pure terror at first, you'd expect that. But the mother, her reaction is really something. She shows this amazing courage, maybe even a kind of, intuition. The bear actually speaks, says he's half frozen, just wants to warm up, and she invites him in. Tells him, lay yourself by the fire, but only take care that your fur does not burn.
Okay, hold on. Isn't that just incredibly risky? A giant bear by the fire. Does the story imply she knew something? Or is it just like radical trust, unbelievable compassion?
I think it speaks volumes about the family's deep-seated generosity. Maybe it's both. They offer help, seemingly regardless of the danger. And what's amazing is how the bear responds. He trusts them back, he's gentle, and the girls, they go from terrified to actually playing with him in, minutes.
It turns into this really weirdly intimate domestic scene. They start this moot willin', this rough sort of play. There's, pulling at his fur, putting their feet on his back, rolling him about a bit. They even tap him with a little hazel switch. The way the story just accepts this interaction is fascinating.
And the bear puts up with it, right? Because he's not just any bear. He only protests with one specific line when they get a bit too rough. And this is our first massive clue. He says, Schneeweißchen, Rosenrot, schlägst dir den Freier tot.
Snow White, Rose Red, you're striking your suitor dead. Woo! Okay, so that's not just a bear talking. That implies he's something else entirely, and he's there for a reason connected to them, maybe even romantically.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It links him to their future, not just the forest. And this goes on all winter. He comes every night. Until spring arrives. Then he tells them he has to leave. He needs to go protect his treasures from the evil dwarves, the Böse Zwergen. He's leaving their safe place to deal with the source of whatever's wrong.
And then that last little confirmation as he leaves, he catches his fur on the door latch, right? It cares. And Snow White sees something underneath. Just a flash, but it looks like gold, shimmering. So yeah, beneath the rough, dark outside, there's something rich, royal maybe, hidden.
The contrast is really clear now. You've got the girl's goodness, active, natural. You've got the bear, noble, but cursed, hidden. And now we know who the antagonist is, the one the bear needs to guard against. This malicious dwarf.
Yeah, the story shifts gears completely here. We move outside the cottage into the woods,
Right.
and the structure becomes really interesting. 3 encounters with this dwarf. They're repetitive, and each one just hammers home how nasty he is and how the girls just help him anyway without getting anything back for it.
Exactly. Encounter number 1. They're out gathering firewood. They find the dwarf hopping mad because his long white beard is stuck fast in a split log he was trying to chop.
And his first reaction isn't relief, it's just pure rage and insult. He yells at them, calls them stupid, curious goose, silly, smooth milk faces. Just awful. They try pulling, but the beard's really jammed in there.
And it's important, the solution always involves his beard. That long white beard seems to be like his pride, his identity. So Snow White takes out her little sewing scissors, a domestic tool, notice, and snips the end off. Frees him.
His response. Grabs a sack of gold he had hidden nearby. Gold. And stomps off, just grumbling about his proud beard. No thanks, nothing. Just takes the loot and complains.
And the pattern repeats. Second time, they're by a stream, fishing maybe. They find the dwarf again, this time being pulled into the water by a big fish he caught. His beard is tangled in the fishing line. Again, they have to cut more of his beard to save him from drowning.
And again, he just screams insults at them. Did you have to disfigure my face? Cut off the best part of my beard? Yeah. But the pattern's the same. He grabs his treasure, this time sack of pearls, and vanishes. Still no gratitude.
This repetition isn't lazy storytelling. It's making a point. You see it right. The girl's response helping its constant, automatic goodness. But the dwarf, he's fixed. His character doesn't change. His only concern is this cold, hard wealth he keeps hidden away.
Yeah, and if you think about it, his treasures, gold, pearls, and what comes next, gems, they're all things taken from the earth. Hidden things. It kind of aligns him with this underground, hidden malice. It's such a contrast to the girls, whose value is in their simple, open life and those living roses outside their window.
Well put. Which leads to the third rescue, maybe the most dramatic. They find him again, but this time a huge eagle has grabbed him and is trying to fly it off with him. Yeah. The girls actually wrestle with this giant bird, fight it off until it lets the dwarf go.
Saved his life from an eagle. And his reaction, he complains they tore his coat, his cheap little coat, calls them clumsy rabble. It's almost comical how ungrateful he is. And same routine. He grabs his third sack, this one full of precious stones, Edelsteine, and scurries off into his cave.
3 times saved, 3 times utterly vile in return. His character is sealed. Irredeemable.
Yeah, there's no ambiguity left about him at all. He's just pure malice and greed.
Which sets up the climax perfectly. No gray areas left with this guy.
So now, the 2 story threads, the bears and the dwarfs, they're about to collide. The girls are walking home, maybe from town, and they stumble upon the dwarf out in the open, on a heath. He's poured out all his gems, the precious stones, and he's just sitting there admiring them, glinting in the sunset, lost in his wealth.
And right then, his past actions catch up to him. The big black bear comes trotting out of the trees. The dwarf is terrified, knows he's done for, and in that moment he tries the ultimate act of betrayal. Just despicable.
He begs the bear, spare me, take all my treasure, everything he values. But then he points right at the girls, the ones who saved him 3 times, and says basically, forget me, take those 2, they're tender morsels, fat little quails, eat them instead. Unbelievable.
It's the peak of his wickedness, offering up the innocent saviors. But the story delivers justice so fast, so efficiently. The bear doesn't even pause, ignores the plea entirely. One swipe of his paw, and the dwarf is dead. Just like that. Evil silenced.
And then boom, the transformation. The moment that unlocks the whole story, the bearskin just falls away. And there he stands, a handsome prince, dressed all in gold. Just like that glimmer Snow White saw when he left. It all connects.
And he gives the backstory quickly. He was a king's son. The dwarf hadn't just cursed him, he also stolen his treasure, the very treasure the girls kept finding. The curse could only be broken by the dwarf's death. So the bear's transformation is directly tied to the destruction of that malice.
And the ending is classic fairy tale. Happily ever after, but with that nice symmetry. Snow White marries the prince in rose red. She marries the prince's brother. So they stay together as promised, and they share all that treasure the dwarf had hoarded.
And I love that last detail. The story loops back to the very beginning. The old mother comes to live happily with them, and she brings the two rose bushes, the white and the red. They plant them outside the window of the palace or wherever they live now, and they bloom every year. Those symbols of their simple, active goodness travel with them into their new royal life. It's beautiful, really.
So, stepping back from the details, what's the big takeaway here? It feels like the story is really hammering home that true goodness, the kind that wins out, isn't just about being nice or passive. It's about doing, taking action, helping, even when the person you're helping is, frankly, horrible like the dwarf.
Exactly that. The dwarf is obsessed with digging up cold, hidden stuff, dead wealth, and it destroys him. The bear, on the other hand, looked terrifying, like pure danger on the outside, but he was redeemed by the warmth, the active kindness and domesticity of the sisters. They weren't afraid to engage. So maybe the final thought for you to mull over is this. Does this tale suggest that real moral strength isn't just about fighting obvious evil? Is it maybe more about having that, I don't know, radical compassion, the courage to offer kindness and help, even when goodness is hidden inside something that looks frightening? You had to be brave enough, trusting enough to look past the bear's dark fur to eventually find the prince, the gold within, something to think about?